It's marketed as a super trainer. It's got Superfoam. Do I think it is a worthy super trainer at this stage? So On Running have finally delivered us a super trainer. Well, have they? So these are my first impressions of the On CLOUDMONSTER HYPER. But before we get into it, massive shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check that out and check out all their running gear. And also, if you want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right, so checking out our quick specs here, and I tell you what, they are not missing our hip pocket here. $320 in Australia, $220 in the US. Weight-wise, it's a little bit lighter than what you're going to find in the On CLOUDMONSTER 2, which is a good thing. So 9.6 ounces, so I think that's 272 grams in a men's size 9. Now stack height, 37.5 in the rear, 31.5 in the front, and that will give us a 6mm drop. Right, so in our uppy here, the material that they're using here on their website, they call it a microfiber. But it looks to me, it's very satiny, like a satin finish, like your satin boxer shorts. But breathability wise, it's probably not that breathable. So it is, they've got some holes here through the toe box, but I am getting a little hot in the shoe so far in my early testing. But padding wise, we've got a really nice amount of padding here. I'm not going to say plush. And I'm not going to say it's got hardly anything. It's just right, I think. So really, really nice amount of padding. The heel counter, it's got a little bit of play in it, but it's quite structured at the bottom and some play at the top, but that's nice. In the tongue, we've got a little bit of padding on the tongue that's taking the laces pressure away. Now this tongue, it's nicely contoured on the top just to sit nicely on top of the foot. It's a fully gusseted tongue, and that is really, really nice. Now the lacing system here is probably similar to what you're going to find in the standard Monster. So they weave, they don't use standard eyelets, they weave through these little lace loops. Now I need to mention these shoelaces on here. So these shoelaces are really thin and they're really tacky. So they've got little rubber or silicone little notches all the way through the laces, and that really helps to cinch these laces together. So I've had these laces not coming undone whatsoever. Now the lockdown in this shoe, excellent, no dramas there. The fit is big, so I've come down half a size and it fits absolutely perfect. So my recommendation to you is don't get your true to size, come a half size down, and yeah, it absolutely feels beautiful to me. The toe box is probably on the normal side in width, but build quality, this shoe it's amazing, the build quality in this thing. So it is so refined. It probably looks too good to run in. It's just so well built. Really, really top quality materials here. Right, and in our midsole here, so there's a little bit going on here. So they've got a dual density foam system going on here. They've got their premium super foam, their Helion HF is what they call it, and that's that white stuff you can see there in the forefoot. So that's their PEBA foam, meant to be soft, bouncy, springy, responsive. And also the foam they're using is their normal Helion foam, and that's that red stuff that you can see. And obviously with all these On shoes, they like to put their Cloud Tech in. So they've also got their Cloud Tech in this midsole as well, and that looks very similar to the normal On CLOUDMONSTER that you're going to see. That's just pretty much the holes that they've got designed within the midsole. Now they've removed the speed board out of this version of the Monster. However, this shoe is still very stiff, so it still feels like it would have something in there. Now what I will note is the flex point in this shoe. So you can see it's just up sort of under the forefoot of the shoe. The rest of the shoe is quite stiff. So yeah, it's quite surprising. So yeah, not much play left and right there. Now geometry wise, I know it does state there is a bit of a rocker or some forward rolling momentum. However, I've found the geometry a little bit traditional, so I don't find the rocker incredibly aggressive at all. Right, and in our outsole here, so we've got a pretty good amount of rubber coverage there, so pretty much the entire forefoot, right down that lateral side there, and in the high wearies at the back. The red stuff is pretty much just that exposed foam. As you can see, along with the CLOUDMONSTER 2, they've also filled in this middle part here just to stop some debris getting caught in on your runs. Now the rubber that they use, actually it's quite an aggressive tread pattern, so it's actually hopefully going to hold up really well in the wet conditions. I haven't tested it in the wet yet, so time will tell that. But yeah, really aggressive tread pattern. You can sort of, it looks a bit trailish, but Yeah, no issues obviously in the dry. Durability, too early to tell at this stage, but I'm going to say that it's looking pretty good to me. And in the ride, so the first word that's coming to mind is solid or gutsy. So really beefy, really cushioned, really protected from the road. It's very stable. I'm not getting much bounce or much pop out of this PIBA, especially through the forefoot. I've put a little bit of pace into it. It does have a little bit of pop, but definitely not as much as what I was expecting. But yeah, very stable, very solid. You feel really protected in it. It does feel a little bottom heavy, and it does feel a little bit clunky at some slower paces. However, when you pick it up, it feels better. I've got a feeling that this shoe is going to take some braking, and I've got a feeling that if you are a heavier runner, you're probably going to dig into this PIBA foam a lot easier than what I can. It's certainly not blowing my socks off at this stage, but I have only had a few runs in it, and I know I had a similar feeling after my first few runs of the ASICS Super Blast. Right, so what I'm liking in this shoe is certainly the build quality. So it's absolutely exceptional. So I don't think I've seen a shoe that is so good. It almost looks way too good to run in. Also really love the laces. And what I'm still figuring out in this shoe is the ride. So I'm yet to actually get anything out of this PIBA forefoot or this Superfoam in the shoe. As I said before, I think it's going to take some braking, but I'm going to keep persisting, but hopefully it comes good soon. And dislike so far, well, it's certainly the price. Over $300 here. I am not too sure at this stage if it's worth that much money. Right, so just wrapping it all up, it's a very comfortable shoe. It's certainly very well made. Lots of premium materials on it. It feels like an expensive shoe. It's marketed as a super trainer. It's got Superfoam. Do I think it is a worthy super trainer at this stage? I'm not convinced yet. It's not all doom and gloom. My runs in it so far, they haven't been bad in any way. I've actually quite enjoyed the run. However, it's just not what I was expecting. I've got a feeling it's going to be a really great long run shoe. I'm not sure how suitable it's going to be to those really fast paces like some super trainers can do. Yeah, I just think it's going to be that long run shoe or a really nice peppy daily trainer. But just remember guys, this is very early days for me, just a few runs down in this. Hopefully it's going to break in really soon and it's going to come alive, and I'm just going to tell you how good this shoe actually is. But anyway guys, that is it from me. Interested to hear your thoughts on my first impressions of this shoe, and also if you've already got this shoe, tell me how you are finding it. Did you have to break in the shoe? And also, any other comments or questions that you have that you want to ask me, just drop it in the comments below. I really love reading your comments. Anyway guys, that's certainly it from me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.